Unaware his wife was the secret daughter of a trillionaire who owned the company he worked for, Derek Morrison signed the divorce papers with a satisfied smirk, his mistress Vanessa clinging to his arm in their modest apartment where his wife had paid most of the bills for 5 years. But what Derek didn't know as he handed those papers to his soon-to-be ex-wife Emma was that she had just received a private call from attorneys informing her of her biological father's passing and her inheritance of $350 million, making her one of the wealthiest women in the state overnight. His wife had always been quiet about her past, claiming she was an orphan raised in foster care, but the truth was far more complex. She had been secretly placed for adoption by tech trillionaire Victor Whitmore, founder and owner of Whitmore Technologies, the very company where Derek worked as a senior project manager, and had met Vanessa, his ambitious secretary, who had convinced him his wife was holding him back from greatness. Emma had spent years supporting Derek's career, putting him through his MBA, networking for his promotions, and managing their household while working remotely as a freelance consultant. But he had grown distant after Vanessa started at Whitmore Technologies, complaining that Emma lacked sophistication and ambition despite her being the foundation of everything he had achieved. The divorce papers Derek had just served her included demands for half of their shared savings, money Emma had mostly contributed, and custody arrangements for their apartment lease. But nowhere in those papers did Derek account for the fact that his wife would soon control the very company that employed him, the board of directors already preparing to meet with her as the late Victor Whitmore's sole heir and new majority shareholder. Vanessa, who had orchestrated this entire divorce by feeding Derek's insecurities and promising him a life of passion and success, she claimed Emma couldn't provide, stood in the apartment wearing expensive jewelry she'd charged to credit cards. She expected Derek to pay off, but she had no idea that Emma's inheritance included not just liquid assets, but controlling interest in a tech empire valued at $12 billion. As Emma quietly packed her belongings in the bedroom, she held the attorney's letter in her trembling hands, her mind reeling from the revelation that the man who had abandoned her as an infant out of fear of public scandal had watched over her from afar her entire life, ensuring she received an excellent education through scholarships and grants that were actually his doing, but never revealing himself until this moment when death forced the truth into the light. Derek, meanwhile, was already planning his future with Vanessa, talking about the promotion he expected, the house they would buy, and the expensive honeymoon they would take. But he remained completely unaware that his soon-to-be ex-wife now possessed the power to reshape his entire existence with a single phone call to the executive board. The question wasn't whether Emma would reveal her identity and use her newfound power, but how devastating her response would be when Derek finally learned the truth about who his wife really was, what he had thrown away, and how thoroughly he had destroyed his own future. Would Emma expose Derek's affair to the company's ethics board and watch his career crumble? Would she use her position as the company's new owner to show him exactly how much power the woman he deemed unsophisticated actually wielded? And would Vanessa remain by Derek's side when she discovered that the man she had manipulated into divorce had just walked away from a connection to unimaginable wealth and influence?